All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders. We talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how the two collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to G, who's the co-founder of Lemlist. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Great. Thanks, Matt, for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Looking forward to learning more about what you're working on. For people that haven't heard of Lemlist, what is it? What are you working on?
So Lemlist is a sales automation software that allows sales team to get more meeting with their prospects.
So walk me through a little bit about how this works. Like, I do sales all the time. So like, I'm interested for myself. What's the user experience if someone wants to try this for the first time? And like, what could they expect if they tried Lemlist?
So essentially, you're gonna import your list of prospects, and then you're gonna be able to say like, first step, I want to start sending an email. Then wait for a few days and start sending like a LinkedIn connection or LinkedIn message. And eventually on day 6, I'm gonna want to start a phone call, and everything would be put inside the same platform in order for you to save time and also like get more replies from your prospects.
This is awesome. It's like is this what you would call, and I might butcher this, so if I do, let me know. Is this like omni-channel style? Like you like hit people
Exactly.
up on different omni-channel? That's
Yeah,
very cool.
absolutely.
I'm curious, how'd you kind of tell me about the origin story here? How'd you decide to get started with this and what's the origin story?
So essentially, like prior to Lemlist, I had my own lead generation agency. So we were finding customers for our clients, and I was doing a lot of outbound. And eventually, I was looking at all the tools in the market, and for me, there were a lack of few things. First, the technical aspect of it. Initially, I'm an engineer, so like the technical aspect of it was not pushed to the level of expectation that you should have when it comes to making sure that your emails end up in the inbox and not in the spam. And on top of it, I figured out that the personalization level that those platforms were allowing you to put was not enough. For me, sales is all about building relationships. So the first thing we started with was a platform with cold emails, where we were adding like a new layer of personalization with dynamic images, videos, and this type of things, just to make the relationship much easier to build. And our users started getting like more and more replies, and eventually, they were just like wanted to have multi-channel, which made sense. So we implemented more channels in order to maximize the reply rate and the booking rate.
So this is awesome. Back in like 2017 or 2018, I was actually heavily not working on a product of this, but I was using different products and I wasn't satisfied with any. Like none of them felt great, but like I was just kind of waiting for like that killer one. So I'm definitely gonna have to give this a try. So walk me through a little bit of, as you've been building this and from founding to now, I know you've had some success. Like walk me through how you thought about financing the company, kind of the journey in regards to, great, you have something that's working, raise $1 million, raise 5 million, raise 100 million, right? Or not necessarily. Can you walk me through your
Yeah,
mindset there?
definitely. So essentially, we started the company in early 2018, and very quickly we started having like customers. So we invested almost nothing. Like we had maybe like $1,000 in the company, and I started like closing customers very quickly. And I think after a year, we could already get like a good, really good salaries for my co-founders and I. And then we started like scaling the team, and now we crossed $5 million ARR in less than 3 years, and we have more than 10,000 customers. So we never really needed funding. And actually, like that's also, what we decided to do, because we were a bit sick of having all this media and everyone online saying that the success of a company should be linked to the amount of fund they raise. We believe that it should be the opposite. For me, like it's super important to be profitable, because you can really help your team, give like much bigger bonuses, and have like 10 times less pressure from investors. So we pretended that we wanted to raise funds, like we announced it publicly. And then we had hundreds of messages from investors. We even did like a pitch live with some investors. And at the end, we received like a $30 million offer, and we turned it down just to showcase the word that you can be bootstrapped, you can be like a hyper growth company, scale up, and you don't need to have millions to do it. You can do it just with the money of your customers, because in my opinion, it's the best fundraising you can do.
So this is great. I love this. But I guess I have one additional question. It's gonna be like a half joke before I say it. You said you're multi-million AR, but like when did you raise money again? No, just kidding. Ultimately, like the joke is that like you literally have had this massive growth without any outside capital. I guess I have a few questions into this because this is fascinating. You know, a lot of the people that I interview, to be honest, most of the people that I interview do take on capital, and that's fine. That's a great
Yeah, of
path for
course.
a
Yeah.
lot of companies, but you're charting a different path. So I'm curious for you, what have been some things that you've maybe learned as you decided to reject the capital, the venture capital, or go down this bootstrap path? Like, what have you learned, and maybe something you want to share with someone deciding which path they want to go
Yeah,
on?
I think it depends on many things. As you said, like for example, I'm not against, like VC fundings and the VC route, because for some companies it works really well. But the truth is, I think that creativity comes when you have like less resources. So in the early days, for example, if you had like given me $1 million before actually having a product, I would have probably spent it on ads, on hiring more people. And the thing is, in the early days, you should spend the most of time with your customers. Like I spent 1.5 years before hiring the first person in support, meaning that for 1.5 years, it was just me chatting with customers all day long, doing like meetings with them, meeting them like 4 to 5 times per day. And that's it. Like the more you meet with your customers, the more you're going to learn their pain and the better solution you'll be able to find. And I see too many founders out there that don't want to put the work or the effort in doing these simple things. Because in the end, you're growing a business. So you need to learn about others, help each other. And if you find how you can help people, eventually it would make sense for them to buy your product or your solution. Business is quite simple, in the end, but you have to put the work and you have to put the effort. And I think money gets you lazy sometimes. So
I have a question that is very selfish because it's very, very personal to my situation. But I'm curious because I would ask you off air, so I may as well ask you on. So I'm in a situation where I based on recent events, I'm connected to lots of potential capital. I have a company that very early stages, like only like under 10 grand MRR, but in the last week has gone from 0 to 4 figures like in a week. So there's like a very quick something there. And I'm, I could raise money if I wanted to with the last, but one thing I'll share is for the last 6 years, I've only been like a bootstrapper. So I've actually like instilled this like hustle, sales, get shit done mindset. So I'm curious for you, like, would you ever consider taking capital, even like with your mindset? And for me, if I like have already kind of instilled in my DNA, like get shit done type attitude, but capital helps, how would you kind of advise someone like me in regards to thinking about venture or not, if that makes sense?
yeah, of course. So I think like it's really the time of asking yourself, why do you want to raise money? Is this because you need to hire people? Like, for example, you need to hire developers because you don't have developers in your funding team? Or is it because you want to hire sales rep because you know that it's working and you want to hire just like 10 times more people to go test something big and try to be the first in the market because like it's a market, it's a blue ocean and you need to be the first and you need to go big. So that's the first question. The second question is, who are you going to raise for? Because all money is not equal. So really spend time with the VC because in the end, like our investors, because in the end, they're going to become your co-founders because they take a part of or a big chunk of your company. So make sure whenever like the advice I would give to someone who wants to raise with VC is whenever you chat with them, first make sure that it's going to be a good marriage. So spend time with them, ask them the right question. And then second, always ask them to do two things. One, it's an intro with one of their founders from their portfolio and where the company is booming and it's growing and everything is going super fine. And two, ask them to make you an intro with a founder from their portfolio where the company has shut down and closed and it was a total failure. That way, you can know how are things when everything go fine, but how are things also when shit hit the fan. And by doing that, at least you have like the bigger picture and you know whether or not it's a good fit for you.
And then I guess last question on this front, and then we'll go to big vision for you in the future. Would you ever? Well, I'll preface with like it's hard to know what you'll do in the future, like situations happen, etc. But at this moment, would you ever consider taking venture at all, or are you kind of at this point where like you're crushing it, you have a great company? Why the heck would you dilute your company? How are you thinking about the next decade, specifically on the financing front?
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, that's a good question. But last year, like in 2020, we had like more than $1 million in EBITDA. meaning that this year, I think we would be maybe at like $5 million in EBITDA. So the truth is like, we don't really need funding. So I'm really happy having the control of the company. It allows me to work on also like a different project. So sometimes, you know, like on top of building Lemlist, on the side, we also built like another project that in 1 year, we grew it from 0 to $600,000 ARR, and we exited that company to others. So, you know, it's like all these little things that I'm experimenting an exit with another company on the side, but also like having the team and growing the team. It's things that I'm doing and that I can do because I don't have like outside capital, because I'm the one dictating like the vision, and that feels good, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool. It's so cool to hear this story. And I'm glad that all the listeners are going to be able to hear it too. So let's look out into the future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, as far as you want to look. What's the big vision here? And what direction are you rowing in with Lemlist? What does that look like in the future?
So first, I think in the next years, we want to become like the first French unicorn that is bootstrapped. So that's like, that's one of the main goals, because I think I really want to push hard on bootstrapping and on the fact that you can do things without having like outside investment. Then, you know, our mission, you know, it's to help more than 1 million entrepreneurs to launch a profitable business. So what we've tested at Lemlist, we've processed a lot of things. We've changed a lot of things when it comes to sales and how to building playbook, and when it comes to growth and marketing. So I want to share all the things that I've learned, the things that I've tested and that worked, and build like more courses to help entrepreneurs really like go out there, be like able to launch their business, because I think that in a global economy, entrepreneurship is what will change everything. You can't really rely on states. You can't rely on outside people. You can make your own stuff. And success for me is having the freedom to do the things you love. And my goal would be to spread it to millions of people so they can start and launch their own company.
This is awesome. This is people are gonna love this. I'm curious for you, like, how can the forward-thinking founders community help you make that vision happen? You know, the multiple visions. Like, are you hiring? Are you looking for? I mean, you're not usually asked. You're looking for investment, so I won't ask that. Are you hiring? Looking for customers? Looking for partnerships? You know, how can the community, the listeners, assist?
I think, like, to be honest, we have built the biggest community around sales automation, which is called the Lemlist family. It's on Facebook. If people want to join and join the conversation, we're always like providing value and exchanging. So our goal, you know, it's to grow and basically to spread the message to the more people as possible. So everyone is welcome to join us on this adventure.
And then for my last question for you, if someone wanted to try out your product or just learn more, get in touch, how can they find you online? What's your website? Do you have social media? Do you have an email? How can they get in touch?
So the website is lemlist.com. You have 2 weeks free trial. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's G. Just type G and a dot and you would find me. And my email is Guillaume@lemlist.com. It's a French name, so you might struggle. LinkedIn might be easier.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I love your story, and I hope, people listen and think about their path forward. Thanks for coming on, and best of luck moving forward.
Thanks a lot, Matt. It was great.